Any words of wisdom for us tonight?
No additional questions. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is item number 5, reports of standing committees. The first report is Human Resources Committee, Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have a report tonight, thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Hearing none, Councilwoman Holt, I have no items on the agenda for you for the work session on the 26th. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not, thanks.
Next committee report is Public Improvements and Facilities Committee, Councilwoman Moore.
Mr. Mayor, I do not have a report at this time.
Any questions for Councilwoman Moore? Hearing none, Councilwoman Moore, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next report is Public Safety Committee, Councilwoman Nuts.
I do not have a report at this time.
Any questions for Councilwoman Nuts? Hearing none, Councilwoman Nuts, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add?
No, sir.
Next report is Ways and Means Committee, Councilwoman Herbie.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the NUSO, which we know is a glass works here in Forest Park, is entering into a cooperation with Winton Woods to do public art project in each of the 3 major communities that Winton Woods School District serves. And we talked about this at our Ways and Means Committee. I just wanted to make you aware that we hope to see something from them soon.
Any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Hearing none, Councilwoman Herbie, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add?
No, sir.
Next report is Community Development, Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report this evening. If there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Burns? Hearing none, Mr. Burns, I have 3 items on the agenda for you for the work session. The first is Building Code Updates, Chapter 152, 154, and 156. Second item is Community Reinvestment Area Proposals. Item number 3 is Residential Solid Waste Contract Renewal. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Next report is Law Committee, Councilwoman Collins.
I have no report from the Law Committee at this time.
Any questions for Councilwoman Collins? Hearing none. Councilwoman Collins, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next report is Intergovernmental Relations and Communications Committee. That is my committee. I have no report. I will answer any questions if there are any. There is one item on the agenda for my committee for the next work session. That item would be council stipends and the use thereof. Next item on the agenda is item number 6, the mayor's report. I would just like to report that this week I participated in the local Meals on Wheels along with Lieutenant Ward of the Police Department and Deputy Fire Chief Jermaine Hill. We had 5 locations that we served or took meals to. Also, Fire Chief Hill and Lieutenant Ward of the Police Department, after we had done our 5, assisted Green Hills and Springfield Township in the delivery of their meals. It's quite an event in that when you think about people who are not able to get out and the organization that are providing these meals for them, people are very, very grateful and very appreciative. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed doing that. I'd also like to report that on Friday, I think it was this past Friday, I had the pleasure of attending the first ever ballet recital presented by the Ballet Club of Forest Park. The young ladies who participated in this recital was held, by the way, at the intermediate school on Waycross. These young ladies were I would say probably between the ages of 3 to 4 years old and up to maybe 7 or 8. And they put on quite a show. It was, they have been in this club for a few months now, and none of them had ever done ballet before, but it was quite a treat watching them perform. But what was even more of a treat was watching the enthusiasm that they had. There was some new twists to the ballet that you may not have been familiar with. There was a little hip hop, a little jazz involved, and was very, very, very interesting. It lasted probably about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'd say altogether there may have been 12 to 15 of these young ladies. I want to give special thanks to the Parks and Recreation Department, specifically Mrs. Jenkins, the director, and her family who supported her in this. I know in talking with Taffy, when they started this, there was I think they were going to have space for maybe 10 to 15 young girls, and I think they ended up all told with about 30 or 40 in the program. Very popular, very inexpensive, and according to Ms. Jenkins, they show up all the time, every time, on time for practices. So the next time they have a recital, if you have the time, I would urge you to go see them. And if you have some young people along that age group that you would like to have get involved with this, contact Parks and Rec, and they can steer you in the direction that you would need to go. And finally, mark your calendars for April 2nd. April 2nd is our next council meeting. It's Monday. And at that meeting, we will have an executive session, and the purpose of this executive session will be to review the timeline. I want to stress reviewing the timeline. That's the purpose of this work session. We're not going to go for a feel. What I would like to have everybody do, you should have gotten the email from Ray and Andy with the timeline on it. Look over that timeline. Familiarize yourself with it. If for whatever reason you didn't get it, you need to let Ray know before you leave tonight that you didn't, so that he can make sure that you do. But I believe, Sally, you put that in everybody's mailbox, so everybody should have it. And if you have any questions or comments and any questions of concerns that is not spelled out or explained in the memo, please contact Mr. Hodges or Andy by 3 o'clock on Wednesday of this week. Because what we don't want to happen is we don't want to have people coming to we want to make this a very, very short, Denise, executive session. And in order to do that, get them your questions so that they can research it and have answers to your questions when you get there, so we don't have to take time trying to figure out an answer for you. Now, is everybody clear on that? Hopefully. That would end my report. I would answer any questions if there are any. I think Mr. Burns, Mr. Burns had or you want to make mention of something that he just saw. Would you say, Mr. Burns? If
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to remind our residents, you know, we're walking into tornado season, and on the 21st, there will be a statewide tornado drill. As the spring progresses, you will note that the sirens will be exercised on their normal day of the week or of the month. I think that's the second Wednesday of every month. But on the 21st, there'll be a statewide tornado drill, and just be aware of that.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so we now then would move on to, unless somebody has any questions for Mr. Burns, we'll move on to item number 7, the city manager's report. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll report three things. First, that the departmental reports have all been completed, included in the council packet, and also placed on file with the clerk of council for public inspection. Also, we completed the annual report for 2017 and have a State of the City status report in that, and that's also available for public review. And then finally, I'll just remind council that we will be proceeding with the interview for the police chief position this week. At this point, we're only interviewing in-house, and just kind of keep you up on the fact that we're on track with that process. That would conclude my report, but I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for the city manager?
I just had a question regarding why we're only interviewing in-house.
What?
Oh, okay, the question was why we were only interviewing in-house, and the reason for that is we're reasonably confident in the likelihood of selecting in-house. And anytime you're looking at a police chief, fire chief, and some other departments, but particularly those, it's a very major decision to go outside. And if there are reasons to go outside, and there are times that we have gone outside for that position. But it is an appointment by the city manager, conferred by the city council. And at this point, I'm reasonably confident that we'll find great success in-house. It is an expression of confidence in the talents and abilities that we have in-house. And as you look at what you have as an in-house opportunity versus outside, I have to honestly say, and as often as said, there are very few departments that will exceed us in this area. So that is the reason we first are looking in-house, and then if we're not comfortable with that process of an in-house promotion, then we would go outside for the consideration.
And then my second question is residency for the city of Forest Park. Okay, I'm sorry. So will the chief of police be required to live in the city of Forest Park?
No, would not be required, and that's for two considerations. One, just under state law, we're not able to make that as a requirement. And then two, it is something that we'll definitely take in consideration. Clearly, and I've often said this, it's my preference that police chiefs and all department heads live in the city. That's my preference, but as you can see by our selection of positions, that is not something we hold as a requirement. But I do hold out front that the connectivity with the city is very, very important. It would be desirable that the police chief lived in the city, but that is not a requirement, and that's just something that we'll discuss and see how well the candidate fits within the other aspects of the job that we're looking for. In many cities, the police chief doesn't necessarily live in the city. Traditionally, our police chief has.
Thank you.
Anything else from anybody else for the city manager? Hearing nothing, then we go to item number 8, other reports. First of those being the law director, Mr. Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing specific to report on tonight, but would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the law director? Hearing none, thank you, sir. Next item under other reports is a report by the clerk of council, Mrs. Dirksen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that resolution number 06-2018 was posted as required, and that concludes my report.
Any questions for clerk of council? Hearing none, we'll go to the next item on the agenda, item number 9, new business. Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we suspend the rules and reading for the reading in full. Sorry. I move that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read by title only ordinance numbers 02-2018 and 03-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read by title only ordinances number 2-2018 and 3-2018. Is there any discussion?
Yes, thank you. These ordinances were posted 6 days prior to this meeting as required.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss.
Yes.
the motion to suspend passes 7-0. Item on the agenda is item A, ordinance number 02-2018. Would the clerk please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 02-2018, an ordinance to amend Chapter 101 of the city's codified ordinances related to income tax collection to incorporate the mandated changes in Ohio state law and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
I would move adoption of ordinance number 02-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we adopt ordinance number 02-2018. Is there discussion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, this is the first of what might become several pieces of legislation that fulfills the city's obligation to change our codes to comply with mandates by the state of Ohio due to changes in the Ohio Revised Code that were passed in the budget bill signed in June of last year. It's part of a larger effort on the part of the state to take over the collection and filing and auditing of business taxes that previously was done at the local jurisdiction. The main part of the law allows businesses to elect to file their municipal returns with the state of Ohio instead of with the municipality. And the state would then audit the return and send what's due to the Ohio municipality. This is also declared an emergency because these have to go into effect immediately, if not retroactively. And so I would urge adoption of this ordinance.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 02-2018?
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
ordinance number 02-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, item B. Ordinance number 03-2018. Would the clerk please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 03-2018, amending annual 2018 appropriation ordinance 2018-2017.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move adoption of ordinance number 03-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we adopt ordinance 03-2018. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, staff is recommending approval of this reappropriation ordinance to adjust our initial budget to account for various changes in projects and unforeseen expenditures across our general fund, street fund, state highway fund, solid waste collection fund, and environmental awareness fund. It includes personnel adjustment for the human resources budget out of the general fund, repaving of Kemper Meadow Drive and Norborn out of our street and state highway funds, new recycling containers for the senior center out of the solid waste fund, and additional funding for tree removal out of the environmental awareness fund. And I would urge adoption of this ordinance.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on ordinance 03-2018?
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
ordinance number 03-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is a motion. Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to suspend the rules requiring a reading in full and read by title only resolution numbers 07-2018 and 08-2018. These resolutions were posted as required 6 days prior to this meeting.
Second.
Been moved and second that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read by title only resolutions number 07 and 08-2018. Is there discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules passes 7-0. Brings us to item number C, resolution number 07-2018. Would the clerk please read that resolution by title only?
Resolution number 07-2018, delegating authority to make declarations of official intent and allocations with respect to reimbursements of temporary advances during fiscal year 2018 made for capital improvements and acquisitions for street improvements to be made from subsequent borrowings.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move adoption of resolution number 07-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 07-2018. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, this legislation is coinciding with the following 2018 street program, and it was required to preserve our ability to borrow money to finance the program. Essentially, we pay for the street repairs as they come due, but we can elect to get reimbursed when we do our annual note issuance in August. The bids for the program were open on February 28th of this year, and the passage of this resolution will allow us to reimburse ourselves up to $475,000 by issuing non-taxable bond anticipation notes within the next 18 months. This is comprised of $350,000 out of our general fund and $125,000 out of our street fund, and I would urge adoption of the resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 07-2018?
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Resolution 07-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item D, resolution 08-2018. Clerk, please read this resolution by title only.
Resolution number 08-2018, accepting the bid of Atleta Inc. for the 2018 street program.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move adoption of resolution number 08-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 08-2018. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, a total of 4 bids were received and opened on February 28th for our 2018 street program that consists primarily of curb, catch basin repairs, and SAMI asphalt overlays. Staff is recommending that the low bid in the total amount of $800,944.99 be awarded to Atleta for this program. And this is broken down into base bids and alternatives for specific programs. They've done work for our city in the past, and as recently as in 2014, 15, 16, and 17, we've been satisfied with the quality of the work, and it is noted that we're not awarding alternative number 2 at the time. We're recommending the base bid and alternate 1 for the streets of Riga Court, Mandarin, parts of Mandarin, Morocco, and parts of Sebring be awarded for curb replacement and overlay work. Various sidewalk repairs are addressed under alternate 3. Catch basin and stormwater repairs at various locations around town are under alternate bids of number 4 and 5. And our budget has these funds, and it's been reviewed by our finance director. So I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 08-2018?
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Resolution 08-2018 passes 7-0. Item number E is a motion. Councilwoman Nuss.
Yes, the Community Programming Board Regional Council of Governments oversees the operations of...
Make the motion first.
I apologize.
No problem.
A motion to reappoint Ms. Rhonda Hobbs and Ms. Jamie McCarter, both from Forest Park, to the Community Programming Board, Regional Council of Governments, and the CPB Holdings Incorporated Board for their expiring term coming up 3/31/21.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we make the appointments to the Community Programming Board of Regional Council of Governments and CPB Holding Inc.'s Board. Is there discussion, Councilwoman Nuss?
Now I will proceed. Thank you. Yes, the Community Programming Board, the Regional Council of Governments, oversees the operations of Waycross Media, as well as provides support for resolution of the cable-related customer service and regulatory issues. CPB Holdings is a not-for-profit entity that holds the title to the property on behalf of those communities. In a letter that was sent by Chip Berkowitz of the Waycross Community Media, he is in support of making sure that the two appointments from Forest Park are reappointed, and they have done a good job in their 3-year term that is about to conclude. The CPB is currently made up of several members from different locations. Wayne Coates, Jamie McCarter, Rhonda Hobbs, Stephen Cottle, myself, all from Forest Park, and it's also made up of some folks from Green Hills, Gay Costa, Jonathan Palmer, Nancy Moore, Teresa Triscritti, and Melanie Herms, and Joe Orndorff holds the at-large chairman position. So I was at a meeting last week. Things are moving very well as a group. Some new equipment is about to be purchased for, and quite honestly is overdue. And so things are going well, and I would urge that council reappoint these two members for Forest Park, from Forest Park, rather.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item F, a motion is in order, Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental report. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Is there any further business to come before the council? Any further business to come before the council? Hearing none. Meeting is adjourned.